this is, again, a modified presentation that we provided at the PFAS, the Governor's Interagency PFAS Task Force meeting.
On behalf of my Commissioner, Renee Coleman-Mitchell, Deputy Commissioners Ransford and Heather Aaron, I want to thank you for inviting us here today, Senator and Mayor. We really appreciate you being here and being able to provide this opportunity to present what we've been presenting for the last couple of weeks between our both agencies.
Absolutely. Anytime that we can get more information out regarding PFAS, definitely good for us.
So the agenda, we had, I think we've done this a few times now, but we plan to spend maybe about a half an hour, Senator, if that's okay, to go through. And I think what we'll do is we could ask questions during the presentation, if that's okay, right? So that if you have a question, raise your hand, let us know. We can talk through that and answer your questions while we're going through this. So the program is, we're going to talk a little bit about Department of Public Health and DEP and what we do, and introduce ourselves and our programs and our level of oversight. We'll do a brief overview of what PFAS is, because it's very interesting to people about where did it come from, what's the history, what's the situation in Connecticut at this moment in time, a little bit of the history of the situation. The Governor's Task Force, as Senator had mentioned, the Governor of Vermont in a letter July 8th, convened state agencies to become part of the task force. And our very first meeting was July 30th. And so we are moving forward and moving toward development of an action plan by October 1 for the Governor. And we're here in Norwalk, and we'll talk specifics about Norwalk.
So it's the two agencies, DEP and DPH, that are really fronting the Governor's Task Force on PFAS. And a little bit about what DEP does. Actually, I'll find it a little more helpful just to speak up. So what DEP does, we are the regulator of discharges to the environment. We have an aspect that deals with pollution prevention. The division that both Jeff and I are part of, the remediation division, has remediation standard regulations that basically dictate the level of cleanliness with respect to soil, groundwater, and surface water. And it sets standards for environmental cleanup where we have sources of pollution. And of course, we have pollution source oversight, and many times that involves issuance of orders, consent orders, or other mechanisms to compel the cleanup action being taken.
The Department of Public Health, our motto is healthy people, healthy communities. There's three areas that we work on that would focus in on PFAS. That's the section that I oversee in public drinking water oversight. We have our state public health laboratory, which is located in Rocky Hill, and we have Brian Toll, who's the acting chief of the environmental health section. So a little bit more on each one of those. But I'll get into a little bit of detail about my section since I'm up here presenting. I might as well let you know a little bit about public water systems statewide and what we do. The state Department of Public Health has primacy of the Safe Drinking Water Act. Primacy of the Safe Drinking Water Act has been held since the 70s in our state. The Safe Drinking Water Act is a federal law overseen by the EPA. There's 17 rules of that act. PFAS is not one of them right now. As we all know, there are contaminants regulated by the Safe Drinking Water, then there are things that are known as unregulated contaminants. And the EPA, over the years, continues to study more and more contaminants, but it's on a very slow track. So, of the 17 rules that are under current federal law, PFAS is not one of them, not covered. There is a rule known as the Unregulated Contaminant Monitoring Rule. That rule started in the early 2000s, rolls out every 4 to 5 years a study across the country of occurrence of new chemicals of concern. PFAS being under the unregulated, we call it the UCMR 3, the third round of that rule, rolled out PFAS and started to sample the larger systems across the country, systems that serve over 10,000 people. That happened, that rule in monitoring, occurrence monitoring, happened in 2013 to 15. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. We can get into more details about that rule. So part of what we do, we oversee water quality sampling of the rules that we monitor. So we receive over 500,000 water quality samples each year and process those for compliance and enforcement of our public water system statewide. We might think we're a small state. What do we have? Like 3 or 4 large water systems? Well, we have 2,500 public water systems. We'll show a little bit of a map and give you an idea of how many there are. In your city, you have 2 that we regulate. Maybe there's some small water systems here or there, but I think there's 2 community systems here. No, there's 2 community systems here. But in many communities, you'll see the map. Where I live in Coventry. There's 28 public water systems in my town because I don't have the big infrastructure. Route 44 and 31, there's a lot of small water systems. And there's many, many wells. There's over 4,000 public water supply wells across our state. And the numbers are interesting even more when you look at the size of the systems. You have 500 community systems that serve a community residential population. 82 of those serve 1,000 or more people across our state. We have what they call non-community systems. 2,000 of those non-community systems, they can be restaurants with a well, a school with a well, an office building with a well, and many of our more rural areas are like that, where I live, in Coventry, for instance. And we have oversight over water supply planning laws, as well as oversight over water company land laws as well. So here's the map of Connecticut. And the areas in blue show the service areas for the community systems, where the pipes are, essentially, that serve the community water supplies. Where these little dots, you can see them, these are all public water supply wells. And you see them all over. I wish I had a little pointer. I could point to my town, Coventry, up there near Yukon stores. There's 28 of those little dots that are regulated by our department and overseeing the water quality. A small system doesn't have to sample as much as a Norwalk First Taxing District, but they still sample and give information to our engineers, and we still go out and review and oversee those systems, and we conduct sanitary surveys every 3 or 5 years of those water systems. Also on this map are shown the watersheds, the public water supply watersheds. There are over 150 reservoir systems in our state. And those lighter green areas show the 17% of the area of the state that are covered by drainage areas that go into our drinking water, our public water